Before we officially, please don't press the timer. I got a lot of HR practitioners, so you can just raise your hand. I'm also a HR practitioner. Yes, I love you guys. Right, tough shit that we do. Yes, we'll start. I was on call a few months ago with an ex-colleague, a best friend of mine. She stays in Athens. And when she called me, she cried because she was being let go from her company, which was my ex-company. Please don't go link in and find out where I work, okay? So I talked to her for an hour. I held space for her. Naturally, she was very angry, she was very sad. At the end of the phone call, she said, you know what, I'm going to just collect my portfolio, I'm going to get back on my feet, I'm going to start applying job right now. So we ended the call on a positive note. But something in me clicked. This seemed very, very familiar that I've been through before. And I know it wouldn't end the way that she said. The next day I texted her. I said, how are you? And true enough, she texted me back saying, Javale, this feels like shit. Right after we texted, right, I went into a research mode. I was very curious. Why would within 24 hours, someone would swing from one end of positivity to another end where it felt like despair and disappointment? So I began to dive, as a psychology student, I began to dig into it. And I came across this theory called the Bridges transition model. And it talks about how transition happens in three phases: the ending, the neutral zone, and the new beginning. So I got very stuck with this neutral zone. I mean, my friend wouldn't be in the neutral zone based on her reply, right? So I wanted to find out what's going on in this zone. Little did I know that as I tried to dig into the answer, I had to dig into my past. So I worked for about 10 over years. My face might not look like it. I'll tell you the secret after this. So I was retrenched 3 times. And every time when I went through retrenchment, it felt like to me I was just solving a bug, just trying to solve a project milestone. Oh, just get back on your feet, open the LinkedIn, start doing a resume, you do this quickly. I didn't want to feel it. I was just becoming like Elsa. Conceal, don't feel, right? And these all seem like normal positive actions you would see from your friends or even yourself, right? But I didn't know that it wouldn't serve me in August 2024. So in August 2024, I left a job I really, really liked. I worked so hard for the past 10 years to move up as a head of HR in a small startup. I loved it. I created the frameworks, I created the policy, the procedures. I made it like my old playground, right? And people love coming to work. But I could no longer align the leaders. And this is no one's fault. Sometimes we just outgrow each other. And I felt that it was then time for me to leave. But there was another stronger reason why I had to. My health fell apart. My health went into a terrible state. Every time I sit, stand, or I lie down, my lower back will hurt. That's not all. I will go to the washroom every 5 minutes, and it will be painful for me to do my business. So can you imagine, every time I sit down, I will feel I need to go to the toilet. I come back again, I stand, I will go to the toilet. I just keep doing this over and over and over and over again. I was both physically drained and mentally drained from all this, right? And I went to see, and my schedule was filled with specialists, doctors, CTs, and acupuncturists. I went to pay for my MRI. Guess what? I was fine. I should be happy, right? But I wasn't because I couldn't find an answer. And in the meantime, I needed to find a job because I need to pay bills, right? The MRI cost me $3,000. I need to find a way to pay for it. But most of the days, I couldn't bring myself to turn on my laptop. Going to LinkedIn felt very scary for me. But I knew that I still had to work. So I needed to find my ex-boss who was coaching, as a business coach. So I thought I should approach this in a coaching way, right? Give me the tips and tricks and make me feel better. Where is my career pivot and so on and so forth. But when he asked, Javier, how are you? I broke down. I said, I don't want to work anymore. I couldn't. Going to LinkedIn and seeing 10 tips on how to become a better leader, better HR. These are the 5 things you can accelerate your career. It felt very triggering for me. I felt that the goalposts of career just keep shifting and I could no longer keep up. The call marked my realization and starting of my journey of what I call the messy middle. For the next few months, I walked through the messy middle as if I was walking through a swamp. Cold, dark, and damp. There were days where I felt like the sun comes right in. I would feel energetic, turn on my computer, start applying jobs. I would see a IG post or a video who will tell you, yes, you can do it, Javier. But yet, there were days where I felt like I turned into a corner of a dam, of a swamp. That those encouragements felt very triggering. And sometimes when my friend just genuinely asked me, how's your job search? It will trigger me to shame. So, messy middle is this journey when you're trying to sit with your fear, face whatever you're going through, and yet you have to pick up your pieces and still walk, willingly or unwillingly. So between the ending and the new beginning, it's not neutral, it is the messy middle. And while messy middle seems messy and ugly, it was an awakening journey for me as well. I had to take small steps to recover myself, sometimes taking a walk in the park in the morning. I had to force myself to take a nap. I have to force myself to cook and eat. These seem very significant steps, but actually these help to build my identity, my rhythm, and my priorities. The messy middle also forced me to look at my relationship with work and career. I realized the biggest driver as to why I constantly push myself. But they tell you, never rest on your laurels. Be on a relentless pursuit for your career. I realized it was not actually for my self-actualization. It was because I was taught to be useful to others. We have been taught that having a job or high career is a criteria to be a useful contributing member to society. That our jobs will give our loved ones and our friends a sense of that we are normal, we are just like everyone else. And yet when you are unemployed, regardless by choice or not, and you try to figure out what's your next step, all the stigma comes to you. You're not smart enough, you're not flexible enough, you're not hardworking enough, you're not skillful enough, you are never enough. We, including ourselves, and internalize this equation that our worth, our usefulness, our sense of self is pegged to a job and career. And when we lose our jobs, that whole equation falls apart. The thing here is when we lose our job, it shouldn't be just quickly to find the next one. It's to take time to heal ourselves and rebuild ourselves. So after that phone call with my colleague and days of research, I posted on LinkedIn this concept of messy middle, writing on my own story. I just wanted to find out if people feel the same or I'm just the only crazy one in Singapore thinking about this. Later did I know, across 2 weeks, 100 over 1,000 impressions, 2,000 over likes, 20 over reshares, and countless people writing to me and saying, thank you, Javier. Now I can name this process. Now that I know that I'm not alone. There were people who had lost their hair, gained weight. They even fell into depression. And when they told their friend they were depressed, their friends told them, you must be kidding. Since then, I created a LinkedIn group called The Messy Middle. It's a space for people to just be themselves. That sometimes it's okay to just sit down. And maybe the best you could do the next day is just choose to still wake up. And I can tell you that is the most difficult thing. I went through it so many times. I found myself getting very near to the window at night. Today we're going to have wonderful speakers here, and you are here maybe to get some tips and tricks on how to rise above. If you found that useful, great. But let it also be that it is okay to sit there in a messy middle. And sometimes what we need is not a friend who comes to you and say, I got a job for you, I have 10 tips for you, I know where to find the boss of this company. Sometimes, guys, when we are in a messy middle, we just need you to sit beside us and say, I'm here. The messy middle is very messy, it's not easy. I will encourage you to walk through. I have no tips and tricks on tell you how to move through it smoothly. You just got to walk through it because I walked through it and it leads me here to you. Thank you.